May the 4th be with you, fammers. In case it wasn't half obvious, I am a huge Star Wars fan. Pre-Disney Star Wars fan. Expect the second half of my improvements to The Last Jedi video soon. But let's avoid that negative stuff for now. First things first. This week, we lost an icon. Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca. He leaves behind an incredible legacy, bringing joy to millions and even inspiring millions, by being the gentle giant that is Chewbacca, as well as being the gentle giant that was himself. Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew, and thank you. Now then, I'm just going to briefly cover what makes Star Wars so awesome in this video. My overview of Star Wars in general, and how it impacted me. For starters, this is one of the few franchises that impresses both children and adults. The original Star Wars movie A New Hope was the one that really gave the idea, but the one that proved it was probably still the best Star Wars film to date, The Empire Strikes Back. It took turns, it took risks, it went dark, while still somehow being a family adventure. It has one of the greatest twists, arguably the greatest twist in all of film. One that kind of made you question your own humanity. Then there's my favorite Star Wars movie, The Return of the Jedi. Despite the fact that it is relatively clunky, and it does retread a little bit of the first movie, the stuff that's good, I can't say how good it is. It also has a moment so strong, so emotionally powerful, that whatever faith in humanity you lost, that moment would restore it. It was also one of the original Meme King movies.
It's a trap!
I might review these movies one day. Yes, I'll be like, what, the 10 millionth guy to review a Star Wars movie? Every perspective is unique. Or at least I like to think so. But that was just the original movies. Another thing that makes Star Wars great is that it's arguably the only franchise that has worked in every single medium of entertainment, meaning that it didn't just thrive as a film series. It works in pretty much every medium of entertainment you can think of. It worked in comics, it worked in video games. It worked amazingly well in video games. It even worked very well in novels. In fact, in the early 90s, Star Wars had this huge surge of popularity again. Not to say that it wasn't unpopular or the popularity ever waned, but what happened was the Thrawn trilogy. Many people wanted to know what happened after Return of the Jedi, if anything happened at all. And boy, howdy, did we get answers! The Thrawn trilogy is what helped bring in a new wave of excitement and curiosity for Star Wars, which then led to so many things happening. Many more a Star Wars novel, for better or worse, but usually better. You had so many a video game, some which actually involved the Thrawn trilogy characters, including Grand Admiral Thrawn himself, and the ever so somehow still underrated Mara Jade. I will not rant. But that brings me to another reason why Star Wars is awesome. The lore. Man, was it rich. Man, was it interesting. Again, for the most part, but the stuff that did work, it worked unbelievably well. The Knights of the Old Republic immediately come to mind in this regard. Knights of the Old Republic. The simplest way to describe this game is that it is a video game retread of the original Star Wars films done right. It has a similar formula, but the ingredients are very different, including a twist which I think perhaps one-upped the Empire Strikes Back twist. Yes, the Empire Strikes Back twist made me question humanity. The Knights of the Old Republic twist made me question life. How, you may ask? I will not dare spoil it. But needless to say, you will never see it coming, and it is right in your face. The best kind of twist, you know? Which brings me to another reason why Star Wars is amazing. The creativity. Pre-Disney creativity. Yes, I know, I said I wouldn't go there, but I did need to make that distinction. Not everything was Star Wars Rebels and Rogue One, okay? Back on track, many a creative mind worked on Star Wars. Of course you had George Lucas, but you also had the minds of Dave Filoni, Timothy Zahn, Steve Perry, too many to name. But they helped create so many great characters iconic in this expanded universe. Mara Jade, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Kyle Katarn, Dash Rendar, and of course, Ahsoka Tano. Many other greats as well came from this. Luke's new Jedi Academy, Kip Duron, Karana T, Tion, Streen, Dorsk82, many others. Then we got the video game The Force Unleashed, which told the story of Darth Vader's secret apprentice, Starkiller. And of course, the other thing that was very creative, the merchandising. I know Stan Lee was the man who revolutionized merchandising, but George Lucas perfected it with Star Wars alone. From t-shirts, to figurines, to costumes, to having your own friggin' lightsaber. I've got one, and I'm going to get more. Which brings me to the last thing I'm going to talk about, which kind of meshes it all together. The fan base. I know, there are some shocked people out there saying, "But no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans!"
You've got some attitude, mister.
Besides, you're wrong!
Oh, so very wrong. But I'm not going to deny the very small but very vocal and obnoxious minority. The one that either, at least, sucks out all the fun, or the ones that, at most, almost ruin careers, even lives. Though why they're given any sort of attention and power is beyond me. Because when you actually see the majority of Star Wars fans, they are naturally inclusive, they are naturally supportive, they are naturally nice people, they are also so very creative. It is the single most creative fan base of any franchise. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. Though the brony community does come pretty damn close. But tell me, have you seen some Star Wars fan films and fan shorts out there? Holy balls, are some of them amazing! Big shock, one of my favorites is called Darth Maul Apprentice, done by T7 Pro. A short so good that it's hard not to consider it canon. There's been many a good Star Wars fan film. Revelations was rather interesting. The acting may not have been amazing, same with the lightsaber choreography, but holy hell, look at those graphics! They look like they were done in a Hollywood studio, and their budget was practically non-existent. I still have no idea how they did that. It's also got some relatively good writing and a pretty decent plot. There's many a Star Wars fan film out there that you just need to discover, including a couple of really good Knights of the Old Republic ones. Though I've noticed that a lot of the best Star Wars fan films, for some reason, are based on the prequel era. Just food for thought. And then, oh, so many lightsaber choreography videos. They became so big that there was a friggin' competition made for them. Just look up lightsaber choreography competition. You're welcome. There are also some really good fan-made games out there, fan fictions that are actually really good. But all of that is possible because these people are that supportive. These people take the message from Star Wars very seriously. Never give up hope. Always believe in yourself. Always believe in your friends. Always believe in your values. Know when to admit you are wrong. Yeah, you may not be right all the time, but at least you can always strive to be in the right. And never, ever repress anything. Maybe that's the other reason why the Star Wars fanbase is so good. They are very balanced people. They are very open people. However, with that said, I think it's common knowledge that you never, ever anger or insult, especially insult, the Star Wars fanbase. It's the fanbase that takes the biggest amount of action. If they ever say that they're going to boycott something or take on a great big conglomerate and win, don't test them. Take them seriously. Star Wars fans really are the reason why this franchise is as big and powerful as it is. They are that passionate about it. They are that inspired by it. They are that connected to it. Star Wars brought people together, of all ethnicities, of all religions and cultures, to see what you have in common, to see what friends can be made, to see how they can be of service to their local communities. I know I'm suddenly making it out like Star Wars fans are the most wonderful people on the planet, but the thing is, they're just everyday people who are just very passionate about a fun franchise, about a brilliant franchise. Now don't get me wrong, there's many a great franchise out there that's helped bring out the best in people, sometimes in ways we never could have imagined. Star Wars is not only the biggest franchise out there, it's also the most unique. The Legend of Zelda is primarily games, Final Fantasy is primarily games, Avatar is primarily a TV series, Batman is primarily a comic and animated series, with the occasional live action, but Star Wars, it's covered everything. People are introduced by the classic movies, people are introduced by the novels, people are introduced by the comics, by the video games, hell, even a stage show. Yeah, that was a thing. But yes, there were card games, board games, and I don't mean Star Wars knockoffs, I mean Star Wars original board games and whatnot. Star Wars exists in practically every single artistic medium you can think of. But the one thing it has in common? The people they bring together. This is David J.G. Doyle, signing off and thanking you, and may the Force be with you.